the national anthem, please, and remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs burning in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You going this way?
They were super, weren't they? And now we'll have our invocation, if you'll remain standing, please, by our Hall of Champions Association chaplain, Mr. Jim Williams.
This season of Thanksgiving, let us pause now to give thanks to our Creator for the many blessings that He bestows upon us daily. Gracious God, our Heavenly Father, giver of good and every perfect gift, we know that it all comes from you, and we take time this evening just to thank you. We thank you for the many gifts that you have given us, but in particular on this evening, we want you for the gifts of academics and the gifts of athletics. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all of our inductees this evening. We thank you for the various contributions that they have made to our community and to our society at large. We give thanks also for the families and the schools that produce them and enable them to achieve their goals in life. So with grateful hearts, we lift up our inductees to you this evening and pray a special blessing upon them. We ask now that you bless this evening and also pray your continued blessings on the Hall of Champions, Hall of Fame Association as they continue their work into the future. All of these things, Heavenly Father, we pray in your holy and precious name with thanksgiving. Amen. Okay, Bill, I'm going to have a seat.
Okay, thank you. As president of the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions Association, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 32nd Annual Induction Ceremony for the Hall of Champions and Hall of Fame. This annual ceremony recognizes and pays tribute to former Norristown Area High School students for distinguished achievements in athletics while in high school, or whose achievements in their respective fields of endeavor after leaving high school have been outstanding. Please note my formal written on page 1 of your program for you to read at your convenience. I will now call on Dr. Janet Samuels, Superintendent of the Norristown Area Schools.
Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to have an opportunity to recognize the 2010 inductees into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame Hall of Champions. When you think about the word excellence, the individuals who are being inducted this evening certainly exemplify just that. When you think about the thousands of Norristown Area School District graduates who have gone on before, these individuals certainly are leaving quite a legacy. In looking at the definition of legacy, one of the words that continues to surface is the word gift. And when you think about the incredible individuals that are being inducted this evening, they certainly have shared their gifts with so many. Also, when you think about the word gift, and when you think about the individuals who are going to be inducted this evening, their gifts are just one of many examples that are going to be left for our students who will come years behind them. When you think about establishing a legacy and you think about the words excellence, that's some opportunities to change the lives of children. Each day, as we prepare children for the 21st century, it only takes one significant person to really make an amazing difference in their lives. And the individuals who are being inducted into the Hall of Fame this evening, the Hall of Champions, indeed have many gifts and are leaving quite a legacy for children to come. So on behalf of our students, our families, and our entire school district, we salute and applaud and thank you for many gifts and for leaving a lasting legacy for many of us. Thank you.
I will now call on Dr. Rachel Holler, our high school principal.
On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students of Norristown Area, I would like to congratulate every graduate who is being recognized this evening. Tonight is a celebration of achievement past, present, and future. We honor alumni who excelled in athletics, not only at the high school level, but we also celebrate their accomplishments after leaving their mark at Norristown Area High School. We also honor alumni who have made a difference in the world around them. These inductees are an inspiration and become instant role models to the current students who will also be recognized this evening. Again, congratulations to all of this evening's inductees on behalf of all of us at Norristown High School. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the work that went on behind the scenes. I know there's a lot of different people that put a lot of effort into having this successful program. And in addition, I wanted to congratulate our students who are participating this evening, specifically our honors orchestra under the direction of Mrs. Laney Hughes, and the choir that we got to hear sing the national anthem under the direction of Mrs. Lynn Danoff. So thank you to them for their contribution this evening.
I'll now call on Wilmer Cressman to present the Louis Spinelli Memorial Award. Wilmer is one of our past presidents and chairman of the Spinelli Selection Committee. Wilmer?
Thank you, Bill. It is my distinct pleasure at this time to present the recipients for the 11th Annual Louis A. Spinelli Memorial. This is a very special award and is the only one of its kind that is given by an organization connected with a high school. The criteria for being selected for this award is dedication over time to viewing NAHS sporting events. Mr. Spinelli was an avid NAHS sports fan for over 60 years of his life. He was a director of the Hall of Champions Association for many years. He was a 1928 graduate of Norristown High School and died in March of 2000 at the age of 90. The Hall of Champions Association created this award after his passing to honor his love for sports and viewing of sporting events. We continue to search for nominees who meet the criteria for this award. If you are such a person or know of a person who qualifies, please send the name and summary of his or her sports fans to the Hall of Champions Association in care of the high school. For the first time since we initiated this award for Mr. Spinelli, we are honoring a couple to receive this honor. Frank and Marilyn Hunsicker Montgomery, residents of Norristown, have been selected as a dual recipients of the annual Louis A. Spinelli Memorial Award for longtime viewing of Norristown area high school sport teams. Mr. Montgomery was born in Norristown, spent early years in Conshohocken before moving back to Norristown. He attended Norristown Public Schools. He served in the United States Navy from 1961 through 1964, and he retired from Thriftway Fleming Foods in 2000 after 37 years of service. Mrs. Montgomery was born in Norristown and raised in West Township. She graduated from A.D. Eisenhower High School in 1963, and she works as a secretary at Montgomery Hospital. Both Frank and Marilyn have been constant viewers of Norristown High School football and basketball games since their high school days in the 1960s. They are the parents of two daughters, Tracy Hoffman and Melissa Montgomery. Both are graduates of Norristown Area High School. The Louis A. Spinelli plaque, which is permanently displayed in the lobby of the high school athletic wing, will now contain the names of Frank and Marilyn Montgomery. Mr. and Mrs. Montgomery, will you please come to the stage to accept your award? Congratulations. In addition to the certificate that we are presenting to the Montgomerys, I have a lifetime activity pass for both of them so that they can view any future sports events or activities in the school district without having to pay. Thank you. Certainly will.
If anybody knows us, they know I'm the talker, so. We would like to thank the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions Association for this honor. To receive this award named after Mr. Spinelli, who was indeed Norristown High School's #1 fan and whom we were lucky enough to have the privilege of knowing, is very special to us. Both Frank and I enjoyed many years of following Norristown High School sports, particularly basketball and football. We have traveled as far as Pittsburgh to watch the basketball team play for a state championship and also followed several players throughout their college athletic careers. We have seen players whom we followed throughout high school and college come back to coach at Norristown, returning what they learned here to the next generation of NAHS athletes. High school athletics are where student athletes work hard and do their best, pure love of the game, not for a salary, which it seems that many of today's professional athletes is the only reason they are playing the sport. Whether these students are winning or losing, playing the best game of their life, or one that they would rather forget, they don't give up until the final whistle or buzzer goes off. We would like to encourage all of you to support your local high school sports teams. It's an inexpensive evening or afternoon out. Know that the players truly appreciate playing in front of a crowd. Several of them have told us how much it means to them. Thank you again for this honor.
Robert W. Bainey, class of 1937. Robert Bainey from the class of 1937, this standout pitcher for the 1935 through 1937 Eagles baseball teams, opened the 1937 season with a no-hit 1-0 victory over Haverford, retiring 18 consecutive batters and striking out 13 in the extra inning win over the former league champions. He not only struck out 13 batters in one win over Lansdowne, but also collected 2 hits himself. He hurled a second no-hit victory that same season, beating Lower Merion 2-0, striking out 11 more batters. Known for his breaking curveball and a changeup, and his Bob Feller's special fastball, the 6-foot pitcher, weighing in at 160 pounds, was rated the #1 pitcher in the Philadelphia Suburban High School League. He struck out 72 batters, 67 innings. During his junior year in 1936, he was a starting pitcher and won the first 4 games, but broke his ankle sliding into home plate in the 6th inning of the 4th game and was lost for the remainder of the season. As a sophomore, he played junior varsity baseball. He was a member of the Vocational Society and the N Club at Norristown and served as homeroom treasurer. His post-high school athletic accomplishments, 27 years as a member of the Times Herald Baseball Instructional School, and many years as a Little League coach in Norristown area leagues. He played semi-pro baseball in the Norristown City League, East Penn League, Lebanon League, and other leagues, and in 1946, pitched against the Cleveland Buckeyes, then Negro World Champions, in Pittman, New Jersey. He had major league tryouts with both the Pittsburgh Pirates and Philadelphia Athletics, and was honored with the Harvey Fishburne Memorial Baseball Award in the 1970s. He served 3 years in the 612th Tank Destroyer Battalion in World War II. The unit was awarded the Belgium Fourragère and French Croix de Guerre awards for heroism. He retired after working 50 years for B.F. Goodrich in Oaks, is a life member of both the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American, and belongs to the Masons. He and his late wife, the former Grace Meller, are the parents of Norristown High graduates Donna Watson, class of 1964, and Robert W. Bainey, Jr., class of 1968. He resides in New Hope. We honor Robert W. Bainey for his baseball prowess and welcome him to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Everett Hartman and Robert Landis for presenting my name to the committee for consideration, and then I want to thank the committee for electing me to this high honor. I also wish to congratulate the other recipients, Bob Grantham, who is in the hospital, Timothy Arner, and Mr. Antonelli. I want to thank the committee. I also want to thank all you folks that showed up tonight. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Yes.
Robert J. Grantham, Ph.D., class of 1957. This inductee began his career with a third-place finish at the annual Norristown Interscholastic Championship in May 1955. He continued to win 16 competitions in the broad jump, with leaps ranging from 18 feet 4 3/4 inches to a best of 22 feet 4 3/4 inches at the second annual Episcopal Academy Invitational Meet at Franklin Field in Philadelphia on June 7, 1957. He won the District 1 championship May 18, 1957, with a broad jump of 21 feet 5 1/4 inches after having placed third in 1956. The title of PIAA state champion was bestowed on him May 25, 1957, with a broad jump of 22 feet 1/2 inch. He was district long jump champion and state long jump champion in 1957. During college, he was a third-place finisher in the open long jump at the 1963 Penn Relays. At Norristown, he was a member of student council and served as council president. Voted an outstanding member of the senior class, he was also the 1956 winner of the Oratorical Contest Scholarship. He was class president at the Perkiomen School for Boys in 1959, inducted into the school's inaugural class of the Perkiomen Hall of Athletic Honor in May 1981. A 1963 graduate of Penn State University with a bachelor's degree in psychology, he received a master's degree in rehabilitation from Seton Hall in 1965 and a PhD in counseling and psychotherapy from the State University of New York at Buffalo in 1970. He also served as lieutenant in the United States Army for 25 months from 1965 to 1967. The newly formed Erie County Office of Mental Health in Erie County, New York, appointed him as mental health analyst in 1970, and from 1970 to 1983, he was associate dean of the undergraduate school, SUNY at Buffalo. From 1983 to 1987, he taught in the medical school, Department of Psychiatry at SUNY, and from 1987 to 1992, he was director of rehabilitation services at the Gowanda, New York Psychiatric Center. From 1993 to 1997, he was an associate director of the Binghamton Psychiatric Center, and from 1997 until his retirement in 1999, he served as coordinator of multicultural services in the New York State Office of Mental Health. He was honored with the Buffalo, New York branch NWP Community Service Award in 1985. He and his wife Regina reside in Cortland, New York, and are the parents of Kamal and Gabrielle. We applaud the athletic talents of Robert J. Grantham and welcome him to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions. Accepting this award on Mr. Grantham's behalf is his wife, Regina.
This is Bob's plaque. In addition to the plaque that we're awarding, we also have from Senator Leach a citation from the Senate, from the Pennsylvania Senate, which goes to each candidate tonight. Okay, you can say a few words, and that's also his pen.
Good evening. I'm absolutely his wife for 47 years, and we've been together for 50 years, and it's been a privilege and an honor. I'm here with my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, and we bring you greetings from my husband. We're also very happy to say that he's going to be out of the hospital on Sunday, and he is so sorry that he missed the wonderful honor. He was extremely humbled by this award. His memories of Norristown Area High School are very, very, very beautiful, wonderful. He received an excellent education, and athletics, I think that was my only competition, track. My only competition. He loved track. And he's been extra blessed with the grace of God, the support of his family, an outstanding foundation from Norristown Area High School. He's gone on to make a wonderful contribution, to make a difference in this world, to change many, many young people's lives. And we thank you for this honor, and we wish all of you a very blessed evening.
John M. Antonelli, class of 2001. With a high school wrestling career encompassing a total of 121 wins and 45 losses, this inductee had only 53 falls in 4 varsity years. He was first team All-Suburban One Leg at 125 pounds in 1999, at 130 pounds in 2000, and at 135 pounds in 2001. Second team All-Suburban One Leg in 1998 at 119 pounds. He was All-State Academic and All-State in 1999, 2000, and 2001. In the PIAA Section 3, he was first in 1999 at 125, in 2000 at 130, and 2001 at 135, and was second in 1998 at 119. In District 1, he was first and outstanding wrestler in 1999, first in 2000, second in 2001, and sixth in 1998. At the regional level, he was second in 1999 and 2000, and third in 2001. He went on to place 8th in 2001 at the state tournament and was a qualifier in 1999 and 2000, as well as finishing third in 2001. Other honors included being named to the first team All-Area by Montgomery Papers, second team All-Philadelphia Area by the Philadelphia Inquirer, second team All-Area by the Times-Herald, and selection for first team All-Area by the Times-Herald and Montgomery newspapers in 2000. Second team All-Philadelphia Area by the Philadelphia Inquirer, and 3-time All-State Academic Selection for the AAU national team. He was also a varsity member of the Norristown Cross Country team for 2 years. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance from the University of Maryland in 2005. At the University of Maryland, he wrestled on the varsity team for 3 years with a 34-36 record. He was captain of the team in 2004 and was third in his weight the same year in the Atlantic Coast Conference and fourth at the Penn State Open. He also served as one of 2 student representatives on the athletic committee for 26 varsity sports while at Maryland. Owner and operator of Vantage Point Financial Group in Bluebell, this inductee resides with his family in Collegeville. We welcome John Antonelli into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
I'd like to start off by forewarning you that English and public speaking were not my best subjects in school. Making matters worse, my grandmother Helen is here tonight and was an English teacher here at Norristown for nearly 30 years. It's a great honor to stand before you tonight as an inductee into the Hall of Champions. There have been many outstanding athletes who have walked through the halls of Norristown, and I'm humbled that the association chose to honor my accomplishments as a wrestler during my tenure at this great school. I wouldn't be standing here today if my parents did not sign me up for the West Norton Golden Eagles Youth Wrestling Organization at the age of 4. I want to thank all of my Golden Eagle coaches, specifically Mark Harner, who taught me the sport of wrestling and gave me the foundation that I needed to succeed at the sport in high school and in college. I'd like to thank my high school coach, Steve Harner, for nominating me for this award. Coach Harner didn't believe in excuses, didn't believe in taking time off. He didn't believe in not giving your all 100% of the time. He demanded more from me than I thought I could give. He, along with Coach Wolf and Coach Schneider, taught me the importance of working each day as hard as I could to meet those goals. This not only helped me in athletics, but in academics, my personal life, and in building a successful business. For this, I am truly grateful. You know, I got a call from Frank Batson, one of the members of the Hall of Champions Association last week. He asked me if I'd like to walk through the halls of the school before the induction ceremony. I politely declined. The truth is, I'm haunted by the hallways and stairwells. I started having flashbacks of doing buddy carries up the stairs and bear crawls through the halls. This was after 2.5-hour practice and not eating all day. Life as a wrestler wasn't all that glamorous. Looking back on my days of wrestling for Norristown and later for the University of Maryland, I wonder how I got through all the weight loss, long practices, and tough defeats. I realize that success comes with a price. You need to experience struggles and failures to succeed in sports. Before I leave the stage, I'd like to thank my entire family, who has always been supportive of me. Thank you to my wife, Holly, who is a Norristown grad and expecting our first child. And special thanks to my parents, Al and Connie, who would take me to practice 5 nights a week and the 2 tournaments each weekend. You always believed in me and always pushed me to reach my full potential. I'm eternally grateful for everything you've sacrificed for me. I love you both. Once again, thank you all for this honor.
John, thank you. Have a seat over there. Thank you very much.
Timothy G. Harner, class of 2004. As an outstanding high school wrestler with a career total of 167 wins and 15 defeats, this athlete held the District 1 and school career records for wins, as well as most wins in a season with 51, and most wins by a freshman with 37. Wrestling for 4 years, he ranked 3rd in the history of PIAA wrestling and was team captain in 2004. A first-team Suburban 1 selection in 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004. He wrestled in the state tournament all 4 years and was all-state academic in 2002, 2003, and 2004. PIAA Section 2 champion in 2001, 2003, and 2004. He was a runner-up in 2002 and the most outstanding wrestler in 2003. Participating in District 1 all 4 years, he distinguished himself as a champion 2001, 2002, and 2004, and a runner-up in 2003. He was a Regional 1 champion in 2002, 3, and 4, and a runner-up in 2001. A third-place medalist in states in 2003 and 2004. He placed 5th in 2002. He was a qualifier in nationals in 2000 and placed 3rd in junior national in 2001. In 2003, he was AAU national champion, named All-American and Most Outstanding Wrestler in 2003, as well as NWCA national champion and Most Outstanding Wrestler. He was also an academic All-American in 2003 and 2004. A member of the National Honor Society at Norristown, this induction to obtain a Bachelor of Science degree in Sports Management from Liberty University in 2009. Wrestling at Liberty, he was a four-time NCAA Division I national qualifier with a career record of 126-50. He was also a three-time conference champion, a two-time NCAA Academic All-American, three-time NCAA Eastern Regional Champion. In 2007, was Virginia State Intercollegiate Champion and Most Outstanding Wrestler at 141 pounds. Employed as a sales associate with Great Lakes Casing and Cabinets, he provides customer service to Northeastern distributors and resides in Norristown. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Timothy Harner to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
First and foremost, thank everybody for coming out tonight, as I am honored to be a part of a bunch of outstanding individuals. One thing people always asked me as a kid growing up, they always said, "Hey, why do you do it, man? Why do you diet yourself? Why do you discipline yourself, train yourself for such a strict regimen?" And I would always tell them simply, "I stink at everything else, so I might as well keep what I'm doing." But with all jokes aside, I had the opportunity to establish a camaraderie with my friends, with their families as well, growing up from the age of 4 to 23. Even till this day, I still keep touch with my friends. We share memories of going to North Carolina, tournaments out in Reno, Georgia, driving out to Pittsburgh. Not everybody can say that when they're 15, 16, even at the age of 12. Having the opportunity to go out and travel and meet all kinds of people was something that I'm absolutely grateful for. Being at Norristown was probably the greatest opportunity for me as a kid. I had other opportunities where I experienced coaches, some renowned as the best coaches in the country. But the coaches here at Norristown were by far the most dedicated coaches. Go above and beyond what was needed, what was called for of their job description. They weren't doing it for a paycheck, they were doing it for the kids. The coaches at Norristown did whatever they could in order for me to reach my goals. The other thing along with the coaches, I would like to thank the teachers and administrators for their flexibility, enabling me to compete and excel in the class well. Wrestling would have done me no justice if I couldn't get the grades in order to go on to college. And more importantly, I would like to thank those who have volunteered their time by giving back to the program for $0. Parents and families in concession stands driving their kids on the weekends in order for their kids to compete and excel. I encourage other people, alumni and myself, to give back to the programs which they've once taken from. I know I've reaped the benefits more than anybody else. We have a younger generation coming into the school, and I just praise you guys, praise the kids for the support that I received, and thank you. So.
I now call on Dr. Rachel Holler, our high school principal. I'm sorry, Dr. Holler. Chuck Knowles, our Director of Athletics, please. Thank you. Sorry about that. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all those who were just inducted into the Hall of Champions and those who in a few minutes are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I also thank the Hall of Champions for recognizing our current student athletes who are carrying on the tradition of excellence that you people have set for them. At this time, I'd like to introduce our sophomore student athletes. Sean A. Calhoun. Sean has 1 varsity letter in boys lacrosse and 1 varsity letter in soccer. He played varsity lacrosse and JV soccer and varsity soccer this past fall. He has been selected as a Player of the Week by the Times-Herald. Sean ranks 37th in a class of 514 with a 4.00 GPA. Sean scored 20 goals in varsity lacrosse as a freshman. He scored the only goal in Norristown's 1-0 win over district champion Upper Moreland this fall. Sean describes himself as a hard worker dedicated to getting better at the sport he plays. His parents are Barbara and Jeff Calhoun. Sean Calhoun. Our second sophomore is Taylor L. Copestick. Taylor has 1 varsity letter in bowling and 1 varsity letter in softball. Also a JV letter in volleyball, all as a freshman last year. All Suburban 1 League first team in bowling last year with a 160 average, the only freshman on the first 2 teams all league. She also was the starting catcher for the varsity softball team at Norristown, who were league champions last year, and Taylor was selected as Rookie of the Year. Taylor ranks 10th in her class with a 4.50 GPA. Taylor is proud to have caught a pop bunt for the last out to give Norristown the league title last spring. A highlight is being a varsity starter in both bowling and as a freshman. He qualified for the individual state championships in Hershey and finished 8th and a 140-pound medalist. He had the most wins in District 1 with a record of 45-8 last year. Brett ranked 2nd in a class of 514 with a 4.66 GPA. Brett lists finishing 8th at states as a freshman in a senior-dominated 140-pound weight class as a highlight. He contributed to the best golf record at Norristown in a few years. 2 varsity letters in ball. He was Suburban 1 League mention as both a first baseman and a left-handed starting pitcher last year. He was awarded the Norristown Area High School Roy Sherrod Outstanding Pitcher Award in 2010. He is 26th in a class of 467 with a 4.41 GPA. Pat is proud of his academic work and making both the varsity golf and baseball teams as a freshman. He had a 4-1 record as a starter last year, 42nd in a class of 467 with a 4.00 GPA. Matt was all Suburban 1 League 3rd freshman with a 187 average. Last year, Matt was all Suburban 1 League first team and was selected as Suburban 1 League Bowler of the Year with a 209 average. Matt is proud of being selected as the SOL Male Bowler of the Year last year and being on 2 straight league championship teams. He describes himself as being dedicated to and having a passion for bowling and is grateful to his father for introducing him to bowling at a young age and his mom for her support. Matt's Dan and Linda Grayowski. Matt Grayowski. Our final junior is Gina M. Palecchio. Gina has earned 2 varsity letters in field hockey and 2 varsity letters in softball. Gina was all Suburban 1 League 2nd team outfield and Times-Herald All-Area Honorable Mention outfield last year with a 401 batting average. She was softball team captain, and Gina was selected for the Carpenter Cup and Conference Tournament team. She ranks in the top 15% of her class with a 3.69 GPA. Gina lists winning the SOL American Conference Championship last year in softball as a highlight. She also led the field hockey team this year in scoring and is proud to have been selected for the National Honor Society. Her parents are Bob and Maria Palecchio. Gina Palecchio. Congratulations. Our senior student athletes, Ikeem J. Boyd. Ikeem has earned 3 varsity letters in football as a receiver and defensive back and 3 varsity letters in indoor track with 4 varsity letters in outdoor track.
In football, Akeem was the team captain. The All-League team has not been selected yet this year, but I'm sure he'll be in the running for those kinds of honors. He was an alternate on the state qualifying 4x100 as a sophomore. He was the homecoming king at Norristown this year, and he ranks in the top 20% of his class with a 3.6 GPA. Akeem is proud to have been a member of the 2009 SOL American Championship football team, which was the first outright football championship at Norristown Area High School since 1957. He describes himself as a hard worker and a leader who always puts his team first and has fun competing. His mother is Shondell Boyd. Akeem Boyd. Our next senior is Leonardo D. Colazzo. Leo has earned 3 varsity letters in football as an offensive lineman, linebacker, and defensive lineman. Leo went right into the JV program as a freshman. He's earned 4 varsity letters in both indoor and outdoor track in the throwing events. Leo is a football team captain this year who ranks in the top 20% of his class with a 3.5 GPA. Like Akeem, I think he will be in the running for all league honors, but the team will not be announced for another week or so. Leo is proud to have been a member of the 2009 SOL American Championship football team. He describes himself as a team player that cared about the success of the team, and he loved representing Area High School in athletics. His parents are Ray and Gail Smith. Leonardo Colazzo. Our last senior is Jade Jarvis. Jade has earned 4 varsity letters in volleyball, 1 varsity letter in girls lacrosse, which she also will be playing for the 3rd year in the spring. Jade is a 4-year starter on the Norristown Area High School girls volleyball team, and there are James and Tanya Tinsley. Jade Jarvis. Thank you.
this time, Wilmer Cressman will recognize our previous Hall of Champions and Hall of Fame inductees who are present tonight.
Thank you. We'd like to recognize our previous inductees. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until I have called all the names? And would you please hold your applause until we're finished calling all the names too. From the class of 1939 in the Hall of Fame, Gus Domino. From the class of 1955, the Hall of Fame, Guido Martinelli. The class of 1959, Hall of Fame, Bob Biardelli. Class of 1971, Hall of Fame, Dr. Elena Antonelli. From the class of 1951, Hall of Fame, Rudy Cusimano. And from the Hall of Champions, from the class of 1951, James Randolph. From the class of 1951, Bill Werkheiser. From the class of 1954, Frank Rinky Batson. From the class of 1951, Hall of Fame, William H. Markley. From the class of 1958 Hall of Champions, Stuart Percy. From the class of 1958 Hall of Champions, Phil Nerr. And from the class of 1962 Hall of Champions, Jim Williams. Class of 1968 Hall of Champions, Ernie Hadrick. From the class of 1965 Hall of Champions, David Stagliano. From the class of 2001 Hall of Champions, Jim Harty. And that's it. Thanks.
Nils A. Olson, class of 1952. This U.S. Air Force veteran flew 6,123 hours in aircraft between 1955 and 1983 in support of Cold War objectives. He was selected to demonstrate the new FB-111 to the editors of Aviation Week and Space Technology, the world's premier aviation magazine. Accomplishments have included saving a B-47 aircraft loaded with a War Reserve Mk-6 Mod 6 nuclear weapon from certain destruction after the plane suffered an outboard engine failure during takeoff in the United Kingdom. Flying Vietnam combat tours in B-52s with no aborted missions, logging 697 combat flying hours and 91 combat missions, flying a nuclear-laden B-47 to a satellite base in support of the Cuba Missile Crisis, and serving as Director of Simulator Training for FB-111 and KC-135 Simulator Training. Other titles included Chief of FB-111 Station Evaluation Division, Director of Contingency War Plans, FB-111 Central Evaluation Group Pilot, and Search and Rescue Officer for the area encompassing Greenland, from the North Pole to the Davis Straits to Iceland. He prosecuted 4 successful searches with no loss of life. During his years at Norristown, he was a member of the Junior and Senior Congress, Senior Banquet, Junior Assembly, Junior Prom Committee, and Traffic Club. A 1962 graduate of Air University, Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, Squadron Officer School, he graduated from the university's Air Command and Staff College in 1974. Other courses completed include the Strategic Air Command Air Weapons Delivery Course, B-52 Central Flight Instructors Course, Crew Familiarization Course, and SAC Combat Crew Training, all for the FB-111. He completed the AFF Primary and Basic Pilot Course in 1955, along with the B-29 Transition Course and Survival Training. In 1956, he completed Advanced Flying School and the Nuclear Weapons Delivery Course. USAF Survival Training School was accomplished in 1997, B-52 Combat Crew Training in 1965, military employment in 1971, U.S. Air Force Counterinsurgency Indoctrination School in 1962, USAF Water Survival Training in 1997, and Disaster Preparedness Specialist Officer Course in 1978. He attained the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. He obtained a Bachelor of Professional Studies, magna cum laude, from the University of New Hampshire in 1989. A 310th Bomb Wing Veterans Association Command Pilot, U.S. Air Force, he was employed by the Department of Defense, the United States Air Force, Washington, D.C. Is a member of the Retired Officer Association, Air Force Association, the Dalian's Treasurer, American Association of Individual Investors, Boston, and is Treasurer and Publicity Chairman of the Manchester branch, the Computer Society member and Treasurer of the Portsmouth Users Group. His civic organization affiliations include the Civil Air Patrol, Inland Search and Rescue Pilot, and Boy Scouts of America Troop 178 Merit Badge Counselor. He enjoys cycling, canoeing, and camping. He and his wife, Elsie Ann, née Gillespie, reside in Hampton, New Hampshire, and are the parents of son Nils Olson, Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome Nils A. Olson to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. I'll tell you what, this was a big surprise to me because you don't hear much about Norristown in Hampton, New Hampshire. But I would like to mention a few people that kind of helped me along the way and kept me going. And of course, the first would be I had wonderful parents. And the second would be I had wonderful teachers. And the third, I had wonderful friends. And the fourth would be I have a wonderful wife. And finally, I had a wonderful job. And I thank you very much. I humbly and with honor accept this award.
Francis Zumo Doyle, class of 1955. Following 31 years as an instructor in the Norristown Area School District, this inductee became the driving force behind the creation of Norristown's first professional theater and a founding member of Norristown's new arts district known as Arts Hill. She taught kindergarten, first grade, and ungraded education classes at Lincoln, Hancock, Paul V. Fly, and Whitehall elementary schools prior to her retirement in 1997. During those years, she also served as director of the district's mentoring program for new teachers for 5 years. was active in the marketing and publicity committee of the Pennsylvania State Education Association, and was for many years director of the Summer Consortium for the Arts, sponsored by the NAHS Colonial and Upper Merion school districts. Following retirement, she was honored with the Education Association of the Norristown Area Friend of Education Award. Her work with community theater began at the Barn Playhouse in Jeffersonville in 1976, and while still teaching, she directed more than 25 musicals there. She also served as president and treasurer. In her current capacity as the executive director and one of the members of the Montgomery County Cultural Center and Center Theater, she has developed educational and arts programs for youth, directed 14 musicals, fostered new talent with new work every year, and offered theater programming, workshops, and classes for youth for 15 years. She is the sole staff member of the Center Theater and a member of the Norristown Arts Council Executive Board. As a student at Norristown, she was a charter member of Future Teachers of America, participated in backstage activities for theatrical productions, and decorated for proms and dances. She received a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education at Westchester State Teachers College in 1959. Other community activities have included serving as director of the Downtown Norristown Family Celebration for 9 years, co-director of the St. Patrick's Church CYO Teen Program with her husband for 5 years, as organizer of a yearly talent contest with the St. Patrick's CYO, and director of the CYO Plays and Competitions with other groups in the Philadelphia area. In addition to her service as president and treasurer at the Barn Playhouse, she has served on the theater's board of directors and as EANA secretary, member of the Norristown County Revitalization Committee. She and her husband of 48 years, John C. Doyle, Jr., reside in Norristown and are the parents of son John C. Doyle III, a teacher here at Norristown Area High School, and a daughter, Beth Ann Doyle of California. The couple has 5 grandchildren. We are honored to welcome Frances Zumo Doyle to the Norristown Area High School Hall.
Hello, everybody. First thing I would like to say is thank you very much for this honor. The things that you heard about what I've done have all been joyful things for me, and it's very exciting for our children and students and community people. We have a wonderful theater, and I would like to invite you to please come and join us on DeKalb Street in Norristown and be a part of what we do. And thank you again very much for this award.
With Master Ferroequinologist avocation, this inductee is considered an authority on the history of the Reading Railroad. He has authored 4 hardcover books on the Reading Railroad: Reading Diesels, Volumes 1 and 2, and the Reading in Conrail Era, Books 1 and 2. a past member of the Board of Directors of the Reading Company Technical and Historical Society and the Anthracite Railroads Historical Society. He was editor of 2 monthly columns in Rail Pace News Magazine, The Keystoner and Seashore Lines, and has published photos and articles in the National Railroad Hobby magazines, Trains, Classic Trains, Rail Fan and Railroad, Model Railroader, and Railroad Model Craftsman. He wrote descriptions of exhibit panels and collaborated on production script for the orientation video at the recently opened Reading Railroad Heritage Museum in Hamburg, is director of museum operations at the museum, and has appeared on television in numerous museum segments. Before converting to digital photography in 2006, he amassed a collection of more than 60,000 color slides and has made presentations to the National Railway Historical Society chapters in Philadelphia, West Jersey, Pottstown, Reading, Hawk Mountain, Lehigh Valley, Harrisburg, Lancaster, New Hope, and Lackawanna Valley. His Garden Railroad featured in the Allentown Morning Call, Philadelphia Inquirer, the Times Herald, the Percy News Herald, the Souderton Independent, and the Doylestown Intelligencer. Years at Norristown included participation in the Projection Club and Photography Club. Following graduation from Westchester State College in 1964 with a bachelor's degree in education, this inductee taught social studies in the Penn Ridge School District in Perkins from 1964 to 2002. He was Social Studies Department Chair for the Penn Ridge Middle School and Student Council Advisor from 1966 to 2002, and was named Middle School Advisor of the Year for Bucks and Montgomery Counties 1996-1997. He obtained a master's degree in Liberal Arts American History from Temple University in 1969. Include organizing rail excursions for the Souderton Borough Centennial in 1987, the North Penn United Way in 1991, the Upper Perk Chamber of Commerce in 2007, as well as UPVCC and Emmaus Borough in 2009. An active member of Zwingli United Church of Christ in Souderton, he is a past council member, chair, and Sunday school teacher, as well as church historian and various boards. He and his wife Susie reside in Souderton and are the parents of daughters Samantha and Sarah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome and applaud the induction of Dale Woodland into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
Teachers can't receive any awards without making remarks. So I have thought of a few things I'd like to say tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank the selection committee, and especially Bob Landis, for nominating me for this award. It means a lot to me to be recognized at Norristown High School. And as a teacher of 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, I realize the importance of this. As a teacher for 38 years, middle school and high school, you learn a lot about yourself, as well as the students you teach. And the fact that while at Norristown I did not achieve academically as I could have, gave me, I feel, an advantage in working with children, especially in parent conferences, and talking about underachievers. I think that really helped me with junior high. Sometimes people say that, how did you survive 38 years with 13, 14, and 15-year-olds? And actually, my daughters, I survived because I never grew up. And actually, I think that helped to keep you youthful and realize what was going on all the time. I've been blessed with good friends. Some of them are here tonight. And I've discovered, having graduated from college and getting a master's degree and so forth and so on, that the friends you make in high school are the friends that mean the most to you and the friends that stay in your mind and your heart. Retiring from teaching was not easy. We developed a new curriculum with interactive activities that gave the students more of an understanding of the why and how of history rather than just remembering all the dates for a test, and I think it's a lot better type of education. I also believe that my hobby has given me a lot of joy. Ferroequinology means study of the iron horse, in case you're wondering what that word means. And it's something that has given me contacts with people that have become lifelong friends also, and a lot of satisfaction in planning some of the activities that I was involved in. Finally, I wanted to share something with you, and it's a reading. And back when I began teaching, they read the Bible in the morning over the PA. And of course, when that changed, then they went to readings. And I discovered a reading that I'd like to share that really has helped me with life, and I'd like you to really listen to this. It's called Focus, Persons. Who is the person sitting next to you? You might say a name or describe how tall or what hair color they have or eyes are, but that's not really the person. Who then is the person sitting next to you? The person sitting next to you has the right to be a person. That is, he or she has the right to choose and decide for a life of his or her own. He also or she also has the right to be understood. And unless a person is understood by other people, they're really not a person. The person sitting next to you is an inexhaustible source of existence. Within him or her are many, many energies that have not even been awakened. There's all kind of good that's struggling to be born from within. And the person sitting next to you also is suffering at times and needs the support of persons around him or around her. The person sitting next to you is a cluster of memories of the past and expectations of the future. He is really a whole colony of persons, of people met all during life. Something of all these people has entered into this, so that the person sitting next to you is really a city, a community. In that community lives the father and mother of that person, the boys and girls whom he played with in school, the people whom he met his entire life, and all the living things that he came in contact with. A little bit of all those people are part of him or her. The person sitting next to you is the greatest miracle and the greatest mystery that you will ever meet. Sitting next to you is sacred. I'm thankful to be part of the personal community that has been Norristown High School and the people I've interacted with and met over the years. As graduates of Norristown High School, I'm sure both of my parents would be very happy if they were here tonight and proud of me. Again, thank you for this honor. I am grateful.
Irvin Wright, class of 1964. Since 2006, this Norristown alumnus has been chair of the Department of Mental Instruction at Bloomsburg University, where he is responsible for the overall operations of the department, including the Act 101 EOP programs. As the appointed director of the Act 101 EOP program, his duties include academic advising and counseling of program students, submission of necessary reports and proposals for the program's continued operations. He is also responsible for oversight of the Act 101 grant. Since 2004, he has fulfilled the duties of his appointed position as assistant to the provost and vice president for academic affairs for diversity initiatives at the university, responsible for the overall operations of the Office of Diversity and Retention, the Board of Governors Tuition Scholarship Program, the R. Benjamin Wiley Partnership Program, and retention of students of color. He was promoted to the rank of full professor in 2002. As an athlete at Norristown, he was a member of the basketball, football, track, and wrestling teams, was a 3-year outstanding lineman and linebacker, as well as the recipient of the Ray Musselman Memorial Award. He was selected to the All-Suburban 1 football team. He was a member of the N Club and also received honorable mention All-State in football and the Outstanding Senior Award. Following graduation from Norristown, he received an Associate of Arts in General Studies at Dodge City Community College, Dodge City, Kansas, in 1966, and completed a Bachelor's of Education in Health and Physical Education at the State University of New York at Buffalo in 1969. He obtained a Master's of Education in Guidance and Counseling from the University of Toledo in 1974, and a doctoral degree in higher education with a minor in public administration from Pennsylvania State University in 2001. Professional and personal affiliations include membership in the National Association of Developmental Education, State Act 101 Directors Association, serving as chair in 2000 to 2001, the Pennsylvania Association of Developmental Educations, the National Academic Advising Association, Pennsylvania Black Conference on Higher Education from 1979 to 2010, the Bloomsburg Rotary Club, serving as vice president and president from 1989 to 1991, and he is a life member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. At Bloomsburg, he has served on the Community Task Force on Racial Equity as co-chair from 1992 to 2002, and founded the Bloomsburg Black Caucus 20. He was assistant coach at the State University of New York at Buffalo in 1970 and 1971, and assistant linebacker coach at the University of Toledo from 1971 to 1976. Awards received include the Ebenezer Home-Mite Missionaries Distinguished Achievements in Education and Community Service Award in Norristown in October 1992, and the Pennsylvania Conference on Higher Education Outstanding Service Award in February 1993. He was featured in Black Opinion magazine, October-November 1993, in recognition of outstanding professional achievement and exemplary leadership, and was presented the Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Service Award in recognition of outstanding contributions toward the realization of Dr. King's dream at Bloomsburg University in February 1995. He resides with his wife, Judy, in Bloomsburg. They are the parents of Thomas Vines, Jolanne McAdoo, and Elwood Vines, and grandparents of Bradley Lance and Jalen and Jasmine McAdoo. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Irvin Wright to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. I'd like to first thank Ernest Hadrick for nominating me for consideration of this prestigious award. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Champions Association Committee for selecting me to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is a tremendous honor for me. It's a tremendous honor to be recognized along with the many who have been honored in the past, those I stand with today, and those who will be honored in the future. I only hope I will be able to live up to the ideals of this distinguished award. As I reflect back on my past, I was not a very strong student academically in high school. In fact, I was not prepared to go to college. But as I look back on my life, at every single juncture, there was someone there to help me along the way. I'm fortunate to have several of those individuals in the audience this evening. First, I'd like to mention Charles James. He was a person that was involved in the community, a person who took interest in a number of young high school individuals, me included, and worked with us from, I believe, 10th grade through 12th grade. He provided a lot of guidance and direction. Of course, sometimes we did not listen to him, but nevertheless, he was there and he was our support. And what I took from that experience was that it was important to make a contribution to the community, and that's reflected in my work today. I also like to recognize the former head high school football coach, Mr. John Lute. He was the individual that actually convinced me that I could make it in college. And trust me, he spent a lot of time trying to sell me on that idea. And not only did he convince me to make it in college, he sat down with me and helped me select a college. He even filled out the paperwork. Shows you how much I knew about going to college. And so I went off to Dodge City Community College and eventually graduated. And then I needed another institution to go to. And he came back into my life again and sat down with me and helped me decide between two schools. I ended up going to Buffalo. And so I'm very grateful to those two individuals for their contributions and their help during my formative years. Also in the audience is a retired professor from Bloomsburg University, retired history professor, Mr. Tony Sylvester. He was an individual that encouraged me. I was an assistant professor for 19 years, and he actually talked me into applying for promotion to associate professor, and then 4 years later he came back and talked me into applying for professor, and so I'm very, very grateful to him. And most important is that, of course, my mother was a rock in my life. My mother was a person that helped ground me, and she also helped me establish that foundation that served as my springboard into life. But there's also another very important person, and that's my wife. I like to thank her for her unwavering support. And trust me, there have been some shaky times during our 30 years of marriage. In 1969, after I graduated, I began teaching as an elementary school teacher for 1 year. And my second year out of college, I was successful to land a job as an assistant football coach at SUNY at Buffalo. And I just want to stop for 1 second and look over to Mrs. Grantham and ask her husband my best wishes. He was at Buffalo the same time I was there as a student athlete. He was working on his PhD and also teaching. And we didn't know each other was there at the time, and we were walking across campus and happened to walk by each other, and all of a sudden we just stopped and froze and turned around and just went back and grabbed each other. And I want to thank his wife for that lovely meal that she invited me to. After I served as a football coach at Buffalo, in fact, they dropped the football program, I moved on to the University of Toledo as an assistant football coach. And it was during that experience that I was given an opportunity to work with the Upper Bound students. And I did that for 2 summers and fell in love with that group of students. In fact, that encouraged me to go on and get a master's degree in guidance and counseling. After several more years of coaching, we got fired. And I was fortunate to land a position at Bloomsburg University as director of the Act 101 program, which is a special support program for disadvantaged students. And I've been at Bloomsburg since 1977. What's most rewarding about that job is that we take students who are unprepared for college, we give them an opportunity to come to Bloomsburg, participate in their summer program, and if they're successful, we invite them back to begin school in the fall. What's really inspiring is that many of these students come in, mentioned before, they're unprepared and with little sophistication. But over the 4 years or 4.5 years it takes them to get to the end or to achieve their goal, I watch them mature and grow into solid young adults and graduate and go on and make a difference in society. And that's been my reward. Over that same period of time, we average about 2 graduations a year, and I only missed 3. And all 3 were due to deaths.
We'll have Doc Holler this time. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce this year's Norristown Area High School Outstanding Student Scholars. Each student that I will be highlighting this evening is in the top 10 of their respective classes and have consistently earned recognition for top levels of achievement, which is evidence of their hard work and focus while at our school. We will start with our 10th grade students. Uriel Perez achieved perfect attendance during the last school year, which certainly contributed to his high marks. He's also been a member of the boys' soccer team for the 2 fall seasons. Uriel also earned the Engineering and Technology Excellence Award and a Faculty Award last year. His mother is Flavia Laura Mora-O. Erica R. Rutledge calls herself a persistent overachiever, and she is already focused on earning a scholarship to the college of her choice. In addition to her outstanding academic achievement, she also earned a varsity letter in lacrosse last year. Erica is also a reporter for the Wingspan newspaper. Erica's parents are Roderick and Gwendolyn Rutledge. Moving on to our 11th grade students. Catherine O'Connor pushes herself academically to many achievements. She is an officer with the class of 2012, Honor Society treasurer, Key Club member, active Girl Scout, as well as a member of the varsity bowling team and the tennis team. She has achieved many awards, including departmental awards. She was also the DAR Connor in the past and a finalist for several years. She has also been a Girl Scout delegate to Girl Scout Council. Catherine's parents are Joan and Gary O'Connor. Catalina A. Stevenson strives to challenge herself and do her absolute best in her classes. She balances her grades with many activities, including student council, the class of 2012 historian, Honor Society, both volleyball and softball, and doing community service with her church. She also has received many departmental awards throughout her time at the high school. Catalina's parents are Lynette and Joe Stevenson. Saheem Wallace has worked hard to make a difference in not just our school, but the community, and strives to be a mentor and role model to younger students. He is the president of the class of 2012, is involved in student council as a cabinet member, is a member of our Honor Society, runs cross-country and indoor and outdoor track, and is also actively involved in outside organizations such as the Youth NAACP as vice president and Kappa League president, as well as a member of the Boy Scouts. He has achieved many departmental awards over his years at our school. His parents are Linda Christian and Vincent Wallace Sr., who he attributes much of his success to. Achievement Awards, the Faculty Award, and Principal's Leadership Award. Her parents are Patricia Hillenbrand and James Barnes. Kevin Utz has been involved with cross-country and swimming and is also a member of the NAHS, Norristown Area Fight Against Drugs organization. He is also a Math League participant. Kevin has earned many departmental awards, and she was also co-captain of the girls' tennis team this year. She has earned departmental awards, including the Chemistry Award last year. Her parents are Ramba W. Karanja and Emma Karaoke. congratulations to each of our outstanding student scholars.
In closing, I'd like to congratulate inductees and wish them well. Also, I'd like to thank everyone who has made this ceremony a night to remember. Please refer to our thank yous on page 4 and acknowledgments on page 55 for a complete list of all those who have helped. And again, thank you all for your hard work and support. It's been a great team effort again. Thank you. I would like to invite everyone to join us in the cafeteria for light refreshments and to meet and congratulate inductees. I would also like to remind everyone when you visit the cafeteria to take a moment to look at the Schellenberger Memorial Showcase along the rear wall, which this year shows memories of Roosevelt Field. And also look at the new Founders Showcase on your left as you enter the cafeteria. Our Showcase Committee has done an outstanding job on these two showcases. Thank you, committee. Thank you all. God bless America. Please stand and join me in 6 verse of the Alma Mater.